All right, good afternoon. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart. Today is Saturday, November 23rd. So we're going to take a look at the markets today and a couple of stocks. We'll look at the typical indices we look at, and then we're going to take a look at Solar City and Cena. So let's start off with the Dow Industrials. We keep pushing. So we've got another high, as everyone knows. We're up 54.7 points. We closed at 16,064, as you can see here too. Again, I think the way I've got this, and I'm keeping the count on here from an Elliott wave perspective, similar to what I've got on the SPX. So I've got us as a wave 4 here, an ABC correction, kind of a running flat. And I've got us in wave 1, 2, and wave 3 up. Now, it's really interesting. I'm getting some divergence, and we've talked about this. Not so much here on the Dow, a little bit here on the DI plus, but we're getting it over on the SPX. I want to take a look at, before I move to the SPX, I want to take a look at the Dow on a weekly basis. And so you can see, again, just a solid push up. We are a little bit where we haven't moved to a new high on the RSI, 10 bar RSI that I use. Everybody uses different ones. People I see that use 5 days. Some use the traditional 14 days. Some use 7 days. I like the 10. I like the picture it gives me with the 10. Not getting any divergence here on the DI plus, so that's kind of interesting on a weekly basis. Now, one thing I wanted to point out on the weekly is when you look at this on a much broader picture over the last 10 to 15 years, we've got in place what looks like a large broadening top, okay? And the broadening top has traditionally been kind of a bearish picture. So right now, as we start to look, I mean, we're approaching this upper trend line, so as we get up into the 16,000 plus up here, closer to 17,000, we do need to be on alert for some kind of major reversal in my mind. I mean, I've got this in the back of my mind. I'm just kind of watching for it. It's just something to pay attention to. Let's go over here to the S&P 500. And again, I'm keeping the same wave count here, and we've got 1, 2. I think we're in wave 3 up, which, I'm having a hard time. I see the bullishness in here, but yet I'm nervous, and I'll tell you I'm nervous because of the divergences I'm seeing, and I'm seeing corrective action in a lot of stocks. So it's hard to reconcile sometimes the corrective action you're seeing in the stocks other than rotation out of different sectors. When you get the market pushing to all new highs. Now, the other thing, we are getting some divergence here, as you're seeing right here on the RSI, or as you're seeing on the DI plus. So, again, that's an alert, and so it's possible that we're not in a third. Because to me, if we're in a third wave, we'll have another. It might be hard to draw here, but you get a third wave, then you get a fourth wave. And then you get a fifth wave. And sometimes the fifth wave is abbreviated, kind of short, and doesn't go much higher than the third wave. So who knows? I mean, we may stall out here. It's hard to see how much power we're really going to get in this fifth wave. So we just have to watch the waves as they unfold and see what they're telling us. So right now we are getting some divergences. Now, you'll see these red bars I've got in here. Okay, this is where divergence showed up on the high-low, net high-low indicator that I look at. So this is where I got divergences in the past. Okay, so every one of these is where the high-low indicator did not go to a new high, but the market did, and then it corrected. And we're getting that now. So like back in May, you got this series hidden here, and when you go back to S&P 500, back in May, it was going to new highs in this period. The bars are the exact length and dates of when the divergences are occurring. And that's what I did. I've got them over the exact bars that the divergences occurred. And, that that is giving me some pause here as I see this. Okay, so be on alert that we have got the potential that something is setting up. Now, if we break this and have a big bullish move and break this trend line and go on up, well, then that kind of takes that off the table for the moment. But wanted to pass that on. Let's look at the NASDAQ. I don't think the NASDAQ's changed a whole lot. We got a little bit of divergence here. I mean, it's still pushing, but man, I mean, it's getting narrower and narrower. Also up into here. Okay, I think that's it for the market. We'll take a look now. Let's take a look at Solar City and let's see how that is looking. We don't have a ton of history, as everyone knows. It came public a little over a year ago, December last year. I think we've got wave 1 up, wave 2, we're in wave 3. This cannot be completed. You know, we thought potentially that wave 5 could have completed here, like, you know, here on minor waves, minor 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But you can't, if wave 5 completed, wave 4, a red wave 4, cannot come back and overlap 1. Okay, so this cannot be completed. So what I'm saying is that we are still in a 4, a blue 4, and then we've got the potential to go up to 5. Now, where could this come in? You start to look at this trend line, and so as you extend this trend line out, that's where let me extend it to the right. We could get some correction all the way back down to this still, as long as it doesn't go above this 1. Okay. So this wave 4 cannot overlap this 1. So what's the high here? 39.21. So potentially we could have a pullback still back down around into the 40, 41 area on this. Now what I would look for again is the blue to turn up, the 10 to break above the 20-day like it did here. Okay. And before you're going to get any kind of move. Now it broke above here. Like actually, I guess here's where it started. Then it kind of pulled back a little bit, got real close to it. But here's where it started. It broke above it, and then you had a pullback into it, and then it continued its move on up here. So that's the kind of similar action that you're going to be looking for: a break across, pull back, and then the move on up. So that's Solar City. Take a look at Cena. And then we'll be done for the day. We'll talk again tomorrow. I think we've got 1, 2, 3 here. Again, we're looking for the corrective action. What I've done is you take 1 and 3, draw a parallel line in here to the bottom of 2, and we'd look for the correction to complete itself near this parallel line. Okay, that's a great way to target. And again, it can't overlap. Well, hopefully it's not going to drop all the way back down to 60 or 65. But, you know, and here's the 200-day, right, snuggling right up underneath here. So here's a good chance that maybe we get a pullback into here. But again, what we'd look for is the blue line crossing above, and then, you know, look for maybe a pullback into that after it's crossed. So that's what I'm looking for. I still think we're in wave 4. We look for a wave 5 up on Cena. Now, this is a choppy stock. You know, I've looked at this stock, and it does chop around a lot. Now, it is correcting a pretty big down move for the last year and a half. So it's good seeing these impulsive move up like this, impulsive move with gaps. That tells you that these are impulsive waves, and we'll look to see that kind of continue here in wave 5. All right. Well, have a great rest of the Saturday, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. This has been Joe for Beyond the Chart. Thanks for stopping by.